Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today it's time for another Who Said It video. My guest today was on the Next Step Season 7. They auditioned for A Troop but unfortunately didn't make it. They auditioned for B Troop and secured their spot. They are a major part of B Troop and they helped them get to Nationals, and they're also Cleo's girlfriend. Today, Molly, aka Jude, will be joining me to see what score she can get in Who Said It.
Hi, my name is Molly Saunders and I play Jude on The Next Step. And yeah, I just joined in season 7.
Thank you so much for coming, Molly. So today Molly's going to be taking part in Who Said It. If you're new to my channel and you've never watched a Who Said It before, there are 2 rounds in Who Said It. The first round is called Who Said It, and Molly will get 10 quotes off The Next Step, but they won't be something she said, it'll be something somebody else has said in a scene she's in. In the second round, it's called Finish the Line, and Molly will get 10 of her lines off The Next Step, and there'll be 1 word missing off the end, and she'll have to try and guess that word. And then to kind of round things up, we've also got a 5-question Q&A right at the end of the video. So, my first quote I've got for you is, "There's no jewellery in Studio A, so get rid of them."
Oh, Emily.
Yes, that is Emily. That was in your first episode when you were obviously wearing your jewellery to help with your dyslexia and your choreography.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was like the first time that I was like introduced.
Was that the first scene you did film on the show?
It wasn't the first scene I filmed. The first scene we filmed was when, I'm pretty sure it was when I was learning the choreo for the dance captain stuff with Emily. She was trying to walking us through it. I'm pretty sure that was our first scene that we filmed, and I just kept messing up the choreo as Jude did. It was either that one or it was the scene where Cleo was trying to lead us in a dance, and then I again was messing up all the choreo. I don't remember which one was. It was one of those 2 was the first, because it was in Studio 1. I remember that.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So my next quote I've got for you is, "Not bad. Start with your left arm."
Was it Kenzie, Emily?
Yes, it was Kenzie. Yeah, that was kind of like in the scene you just explained where you were learning the choreography for the dance captain.
Yeah.
So my next quote for you is, "Are you thinking of auditioning for B Troop?"
Cleo?
Yes, yeah, that was Cleo. That was after obviously you auditioned for A Troop and you didn't make it in the choreography round.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because she could see you had like potential because of your freestyle solo, and then she was like, "You should audition for B Troop, you never know what happens."
Yeah. And then Jude was a little too down to answer. Really, she goes, "I'll think about it."
Yeah, she's like, "I'll think about it," and she's like, it was a mistake coming here. So your next quote is, "Jude's an amazing soloist, full stop."
Oh. I know it's in episode 3. But I'm just trying to think. It sounds like it's something that would be too nice for, or I mean, too mean for like Cleo to say. Was it like Ethan? He's sassy.
Yes, it was Ethan.
Really? I'm trying to think of someone who would say something like...
Yeah, it was Ethan. It was actually in episode 6, when it was the favourite, I think it was episode 6, and it was when you were doing the choreography and he was saying, "Jude's a great soloist, full stop." Like, basically saying you can't do choreography, but in a kind of nice way, kind of a not a nice way.
Yeah, now I'm remembering it. I was thinking and I was like, I don't remember Ethan though in episode 3 doing it, but I remember him in episode 6.
So, your 5th quote is, "The dance captain of A Troop, potentially joining B Troop, that would make us B+ troop."
Okay. I'm like debating between 2 people, whether it's Maddie, plays Winnie, yeah, or grace. I feel like that's a Winnie quote.
Yes, it is Winnie. Yeah, that is correct.
That's such a Winnie quote.
Yeah, that was in, actually it was in 7B, that one. It was like the first episode of 7B when obviously Summer was kicked off. Well, she wasn't kicked off A Troop, she kind of decided to kind of leave, and then she came to B Troop and you were like, come and join us, come and dance with us, and then Cleo was like, actually no, we don't need you, you're more of a soloist. And then you sat down with Cleo and talked to her.
Brought her to her senses.
Yeah, you did that quite a few times when she decided she didn't want to go to nationals again, and yeah. Jude was like her little kind of like therapist in a way, kind of like somebody who like put her straight.
Yeah, she kind of like, her focus was so narrow, and then Jude kind of helped her like expand it, I guess you could say, and realize that there are other things to be upset about and that she can get over it, you know?
Yeah. So my next quote for you is, the dance is almost perfect except from one thing.
Is this... the dance is almost perfect, except for one thing. I want to say it's like Sage, who plays Summer.
Yes, it is Summer, yes.
Yeah, because it's like, I think the one thing is Jude.
Yeah, it was just when you were rehearsing part of the control dance, and it was a bit, I think you were like squatting and it's like an elbow bit or something, and then you were a beat behind and someone was like, everything's perfect except from one thing, and then obviously she kicked you off, but you were brought back eventually.
Yeah, it was good to, I mean, when we filmed that, I think I've said this before, but we did our rehearsal for that. And I actually learned the dance, and we did whatever it was, 4 or 5 hour rehearsal, learning that entire dance. And it was so intense. And the entire time I was thinking, because I had read the script and I was thinking like, is this really, should I really be learning this dance? Because I really don't think I'm in it. And then it turns out that it was kind of a good thing that I got to learn the dance, because even if you see in the dance, there might be a few formations that are off because it's where I was, but that's what it would have been anyway, because Jude originally learned the entire dance. But it was cool to have like that little like solo added in rather than just being fully taken out of the group. I think that was cool.
Yeah, it kind of showed that like they could offer you something even if you couldn't like learn it. There was still a chance for you to go to nationals and to be on the team. But yeah, that's really cool that you like learn everything, but you didn't was it quite comforting? No, you didn't have to like do it perfectly, or was it a bit like annoying?
I mean, I kind of wanted to do it. I think it was a really fun dance to learn and do. When we did it the few times in rehearsal, I really enjoyed doing it. But I mean, it was definitely difficult throughout the entire season. I actually had to learn all my dances on the left and the right, which is something that not normally you do. But because Jude is dyslexic, in the middle of a dance, she would have to like switch to start doing it on the other side. So from the beginning of the season, they said, why don't you just learn every dance on the left and on the right? So if you mess it up, you know, it makes it more natural to mess it up because you know the other side too. So, I mean, the entire experience of learning the dances was quite different. But it never got too bad filming it, which was good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was really cool, like, how you obviously represented, like, dyslexic people and everything, because obviously they've never had that before on the show, so it was, as well as obviously you and Cleo, it was another good thing that they've brought in season 7, I think.
Yeah, I think it was amazing to be able to represent it, and kind of demonstrate more awareness towards it, I think you could say. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love Jude's little character. I think she's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. So my next quote I've got for you is, I would recognise that face anywhere.
I could recognize that face anywhere? Does Rochelle say it? Briar.
No, it's not Rochelle. It's about Rochelle. It was actually Gavin, or the head of Absolute Dance, who said it, because obviously Rochelle's the face of Absolute Dance. So she was like saying that she recognises Rochelle and it's the best face.
Right. I was thinking that like Rochelle was saying it about Gavin because I know she sees her and then comes in to talk to her and all this stuff.
Yeah, not quite, nearly. Not quite. So, my next quote for you is, "We're bringing absolute fire."
Does Izzy say it?
Yes, Izzy does say it, yes.
That's such a little Izzy quote to say.
Yeah, that was in Show You How when we... Oh, no, it wasn't. It was in Control, sorry. And you were all dancing and then she was saying, like, we're absolute fire, we're going to get to nationals. And, you know, Izzy's a good, confident person and she's very positive.
Yeah, and she says like the most adorable stuff too, as her little character is like this ball of energy.
I think one of Izzy's words is definitely pumped, because she's like, I'm so pumped to go to nationals and I'm pumped to go and do this and this.
Yeah.
She's just got a positive mindset, I think. She's a very positive character.
For sure. I love her. She's like this like ray of light too. Like every time she walks in a room too, she's always got like this energy and it kind of brings up the entire energy of the team, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. So, you have 2 more quotes left in round 1, so hopefully we're getting a bit harder now. And your next quote is, I mean, this is impressive.
I feel like it's when Emily or Presley is auditioning and me, Winnie, and Maddie and Shane and I are all standing there watching. But I don't know if...
Do you want a clue?
Yeah.
So this is actually in B Troop Best Troop episode, so it's not that scene.
I mean, this is impressive. Does Rochelle say it?
Yes, Rochelle does say it.
Okay, and that's when we're auditioning for nationals?
When you're doing Control, she's watching the dance and she's like, oh, wow, this is actually really impressive. And then she was saying, I know Emily told me that they were good, but she didn't expect that. So she kind of didn't expect the talent in B Troop, obviously. Well, B Troop are A Troop's level now. I mean, there's no difference, really.
I know, I think they did a really good job this season of the writing. I think it's really fun to kind of bring B Troop up. And I know, like, in dance studios, too, you have times when, whether it's, like, split up through age groups, but, like, the younger groups start to build, like, a much stronger dynamic as a team. And then it kind of matches the older one, or whether it's, like, by age group or what. So I think that was really cool that they got to show B Troop. You know, you see them in the auditions and Emily's saying, this is like the strongest set of auditions that we've had. It's going to be so hard to choose. And then later on, you find out that you're actually going to be seeing a lot of B Troop more because they become such a strong group and, you know, they're always training and they're always working together. So I think that was really cool that they did this season.
Yeah, 100%. I do agree. And I think, obviously, in the past, they've, like, showed B Troop and J Troop, but not as much as they've done in Season 7. Well, we didn't see J Troop, but B Troop have got main roles this season, and I think it's really good.
Right.
And I hope to see the same in Season 8, hopefully.
Yep. Hope so.
Yep, hashtag Season 8 when, though, everyone. So, you have one more quote in the first round, and your final quote is, this is the level that I've been working up to.
This is the level that I've been working up to. Can you give me a hint?
This was in the Control dance, and the person who said this was, like, doing a leap or something, a grand jeté, something like that.
I'm going to say, I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to say Winnie.
It was actually Maya.
Oh, okay.
I think Winnie was next to her though when they did the leap, but because they were rehearsing together.
Okay, yeah. I like was thinking Winnie because it says what I've been working up to, you know, and she's been the longest one on V Troop.
Yeah, that I can see where you're coming from with that, but no, it was Maya. So yeah, that's the end of the first round, and you've got 8 out of 10, which is a really good score. So almost full marks, 80%. So that's good.
Okay.
So we're now moving on to round 2, which is finish the line, and we'll see how Molly's gonna do. So my first line for you is, "That's what my bracelets are."
4?
4, yep, that is correct. Yeah, we've talked about the storyline. It was when you had your bracelets on, and then obviously Emily was like, you can't wear them in Studio A. I guess if you were dancing though, you're probably not allowed to wear bracelets, like injury-wise, like you could slip or they could get stuck or something.
Yeah. It kind of depends what. Like, she was wearing, like, beaded bracelets. You know, if she was wearing, like, a hair tie or more of, like, a rope bracelet or something, it probably would have been okay.
So your next line is, "I did everything I could to learn this
Dance.
routine," but it kind of means the same thing, so, you know, I'll give you half a point for that one.
Now I need to get everything if I want to at least tie with Danny.
Yes, well, we'll see. So your next line is, "I was so happy after I did my..."
I have 2 words that I literally have no idea. I know, I have a feeling that it's like one of those 2. I think it's either, I'll say the 2 options and then I think it's either solo or freestyle.
It's one of them. I'll give you that.
I know it's one. I was so happy after I did my freestyle.
It was so low.
No.
But I'll be kind again and give you half because you did say it a minute ago, so...
Okay.
I mean, you can't draw with Danny now, but you can still come in a close second, so...
Come in second.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah, that was when, obviously, you were sat on the bench and then Cleo comes over. It was a talking head and you were saying you were so happy after your solo and then the choreography let you down. But yeah, I just think, like, it was... I think, obviously, the viewers at home didn't know that, like, at that point you had dyslexia, so I thought it was kind of cool how they continued the storyline in from, like, episode 3, and they literally continued it through the season. And, like, it's really unusual, like, nowadays on the next step that you get, a storyline that lasts that long, so it's really good. I think it's really important as well.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, so my next line for you is, "I'm really happy that she's leading this."
I'm really happy that she's leading this. True.
Rehearsal. That was in episode 6 or 7, the favourite one again, and that was when Cleo came in and said she was going to do the rehearsal, and then you started the choreography and it all went wrong, and then you made the jokes because you kind of got, like, nervous inside, and you were saying that's how you cope with the stress and nerves when, like, you can't understand the choreography.
Yeah. Oh, I watched the season when we first got it, so I guess that was now like a year ago. We got them like separately, but I haven't watched it much since then, and I didn't want to watch it right before this because I thought it might be like kind of cheating to watch my episodes, so I didn't. So it's so hard to like go back into that, especially because we also filmed it like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now, which is crazy.
Yeah, well, you're doing really well considering you've not watched it in a while, so yeah, carry on the way you are and we'll get a good score, I think. So my next line for you is, "Rehearsal has been awful since the first..."
I have to think.
Yeah, it's the when Cleo came again, that rehearsal.
It was a line, not a talking head?
Yeah, you said it to Cleo.
Like, no idea.
I'm trying to think of a clue. Okay, I will give this clue. It's something to do with time.
Rehearsal has been awful since the first. I'll go with second.
First minute.
I whispered both to myself too, and said second or minute, second or minute.
Yep, yeah, it was time, obviously, the minute was time, but yeah, I mean,
it probably was bad from the first minute, so, second.
Yeah, because obviously when Cleo came in, she was, like, happy, and then when you started rehearsing, she's like, oh, I hate this. I think that I don't know if that was, but was that, like, the first B-Troop, like, rehearsal you actually ever had?
Yeah, I think it was, and I think that was the very first scene we filmed. I think now remembering it, I think that was the very first scene we filmed. And I remember how, like, nervous I was. And, we had to come up with that little piece just right there for Cleo to, like, lead us through. And then Jude was just messing up. And then you see her at the end, too, of that scene, like, storm out of Cleo, and kind of, like, snap back at Cleo.
So my next line for you is, so I joke around to try and cover it.
Up?
Yep, up. Yeah, that is right. That was the same storyline as a minute ago, when you basically joke around to cover up the fact that you don't understand choreo.
Right.
Yeah, so that's that storyline. So my next line for you is, so this is me.
I want a little hint, please, because I have no idea.
This line was in the locker room, and it was with Cleo again.
Oh, this is me asking.
Yes, this is me asking. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, that was obviously when you wanted help with your choreo, and then I remember that Danny, Cleo, made you, like, say it 3 or 4 times really loudly, and she was like, oh, you don't have to be so loud.
Yeah, that was really cute, because that was also, that was a little part that was kind of improvised that we did between us, and then we were able to bring it back, like, later on when Cleo comes in to talk to Jude, and then Jude says, wait, what was that? That was a really cute and sweet little moment too, because it's the first time that you really see them, have this, like, start of a relationship.
Yes, I agree. And I also think, like, every time that you two kind of had, like, a good, like, talk, or you had, like, some sort of connection, they always played Brave over the top. So, like, when I was finding the quotes, every time there was some sort of connection, they played Brave. So it's kind of, like, good, like, when you know that something's building up.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, I was just thinking, like, when she was, like, making you say it louder, it's similar to at internationals when Michelle made Stephanie, like, shout really loudly saying that she deserves to be there.
Oh, yeah. I remember watching that.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar thing. I think it's to help, like, confidence, I guess.
For sure. 100%. To hear them really say it out loud and, like, own it, Yeah. Like, Jude, throughout, like, at the end, she owns, like, yes, I need help. Can you help me?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. So, my 8th line for you is, she's such a beautiful...
Dancer.
Performer. I knew you were going to say dancer. But it was close, but it was performer. It was when she was Cleo was doing her, what was it called? Comeback solo, and you were like, you should join B Troop. You're such a beautiful performer, and, like, you shouldn't leave the next step. But yeah, that was a trick line there, because I mean, it sounds like it should be dancer, but it isn't.
And I went right into it too. I was so confident. I'm like, oh, it's dancer.
No, not quite. Nearly. So you've got 2 more lines left, and we'll see how you do. So it is, we'd be even better if we had someone like
You.
you. Yeah, that's correct, you. That was when, obviously, again, the comeback solo, and then when you were talking to her and the Brave music was playing again, and you were saying B Troop is great, but we'd be even better with somebody like you.
Right, I remember that one.
So, I have one more line for you, so it's kind of like the last competitive question, and then obviously we have the Q&A. So, my last question for you is, I know that Clea was upset with...
Summer?
Yes, Summer, yes. Yeah, you got the final one right, very good.
I was about to say me, like right away. But then I was like,
Yeah.
Cleo doesn't get really upset with Jude. It's more other people she gets upset with.
Yeah. Yeah, well, altogether, I can say you got 14 out of 20, which is very good. Which is good. Yeah, it is good, though. I mean...
I was so confident, too.
I mean, you're not last, though. Like, yeah. We've had... Isaiah got 10 out of 20. And then we've had Liam got 13. And then who got 13 and a half? Somebody got 13 and a half. I can't remember who. But yeah, it puts you in the middle of the leaderboard.
Okay, not bad.
So now we're moving on to the Q&A round. And these are basically just like a few random questions just about the next step and about like yourself. So my first question is, what was it like auditioning for the next step?
The audition process it's so vivid to me in my memory. I think it was because it was the first thing I ever really auditioned for. I live in Ottawa. I'm trying to move to Toronto, but with everything going on, I've been kind of putting it on hold. So I drove down with a friend of mine, and we drove down to Toronto. It's about 4.5 hours. And then I remember kind of being nervous, but not really, because I remember just thinking, you know, this is the first audition, my first audition, like, you're probably not going to get it, so just give it all you got, you know, don't be nervous, don't be embarrassed, just kind of go for it. And I think that's what really got me the part as Jude, because I wasn't even thinking like that I was going to get it at all. So when I kept going forward, I still would think to myself, you know, just take in everything around you and enjoy yourself, and really like enjoy the audition process. And because of that, I wasn't getting to my head, you know, and saying, I'm so nervous about it. What if I mess up? And then actually messing up. Like, I was just going for it, which I think was amazing and definitely really helpful. It was definitely nerve-wracking a little bit though, because I used to watch the show when I was like really young. I watched season 1. So it was a really interesting experience. Very different, I know, than a lot of other people too, because of the way how I just kind of went without knowing anything, never been to an audition. And then every time like they would call my name for another callback, I was so shocked. But then at the same time, like, okay, yeah, but you didn't get it yet, you know, just keep going, keep doing you. That's all that stuff. And then I got a call back for the next week. So I drove home, and then a week later, I drove back to Toronto for the second callback. And then that's when I was given a page, and I actually auditioned. We were put in like partners, and I was partnered up with Monique, which was pretty cool because she's lived in Ottawa too for a bit. So I kind of knew her then, but we auditioned together, and it was a role. I was playing the role of Jude in that. So I think that was pretty cool, because I remember reading it going, oh, I'd never seen this scene before, you know, and then it turned out to be a scene that Jude does. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, what scene was it that she did?
It was when Jude it was in episode 3 where Jude keeps messing up the choreo, and Kenzie is saying like, it's okay, like, you got this, you can do it. and she is just has no, like, she's so nervous, and because she just thinks she's going to mess up the entire routine.
Yeah, that's so cool that you kind of like got to do like a little bit of the script before like even knew you were going to do it in real life. So that's really exciting. So my next question for you is, when did you first start dancing?
I started dancing when I was 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old. So I've been dancing my entire life. I've always been dancing, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's good. So my next question for you is, can you relate to your character, Jude, in any way?
I mean, we have a lot of differences. She has dyslexia, and I do not have dyslexia. But in this, I feel like the way, she's so caring towards other people, I think, and even seeing it with Cleo, she's always trying to fix things and make things better. And I think that's something that I do quite often. I want stuff to go well, and I want, also, I'm quite a perfectionist. And I think Jude kind of has those as well. She messes up a little bit and then freaks out about it, and doesn't like when she's not right. So I think those are some similarities between us two. I'm trying to think if there are any others. She has some attitude that I would not have. When she'll like talk back or storm out, that is not something that I would do as a person. She has some like sass to it. I don't know. I think that's kind of it.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's great how you can like relate to her in some ways and then not. I think, was it kind of good, like, if like the bits you could relate to her, was it kind of natural to be Jude in the show?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they make it so you bring a lot to your character. A lot of the scenes are not fully scripted, so you're able to play with it and improvise and bring fun little elements into the scene, whatever scene you're filming, which I think is really fun because I got to, bring stuff into her that potentially wouldn't have been there before, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. So I have 2 more questions for you, and this next question is, do you have any advice to people who want to get into the dance industry?
I would say that it is so important, obviously, to keep up with your training. And if you really want to get into the industry, stretch every day, train as much as you possibly can. But you also have to like have confidence in yourself, because if you're an amazing dancer but you're not confident, you're not going to get roles or as many jobs, because you think, if you don't have confidence, it shows that you don't think you're great. And so if you don't think you're great, why are other people going to think you're great? So I think confidence is definitely a really important quality to have in the dance industry, especially because it can be such a tough industry as well. Like, you're going to do thousands of auditions and you're going to get one, I mean, I was lucky to get my first audition, but I've done auditions since then and haven't gotten any of them. So you really have to have a strong, kind of have confidence, but also like strong self-esteem, because you're going to get no's and you can't take those no's personally. You want to take them as kind of constructive criticism, as in like, okay, well, I'm going to work a lot harder so that next time it's a yes, or so that the next time it's a yes. You're just trying to push yourself, but you don't want it to kind of tear you away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's some really good advice, and thank you for sharing that, because I hope a lot of people can kind of relate to it and kind of take it on board if you want to get involved in the dance world. So I have one more question for you, and I tend to ask this one just because I feel like everybody wants to know. Do you have any next step behind the scenes stories?
Oh, I think this is pretty funny. Danny and I were in the green room one day, and we were trying to film a serious behind the scenes, like that they post on the Next Step YouTube video. And so we were there with Emily, who does the filming, and it was just us 3 up in the green room. And suddenly Danny stops, and we were just so silly, and I think it's because we had been there since 6 in the morning or whatever it was, so we were kind of going crazy, and we were trying so hard to be serious. And then finally we were able to kind of calm down, and then Danny stops and looks over in the corner, and a mouse had run by, like, the upstairs. And so she, like, jumps up and, like, freaks out. And so we were trying to find it. We didn't end up seeing, she said it was a mouse. Maybe it wasn't a mouse, but we looked everywhere in the green room. And then ever since then, we kind of were always cautious of our feet when we were up there, because we thought that there was a mouse living up there, a little mouse living up there. But we didn't catch him on camera at all. And we didn't see him any more than what Danny saw. So maybe she just saw something, or maybe it was actually a little mouse. But I think that was a pretty funny story. It was definitely really chaotic when she saw it.
Yeah, that's a really funny story. I mean, we would never have known otherwise. Yeah, you never know. It could still be living there. You never know.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's the end of everything. But yeah, you did get a really good score, obviously. Oh, actually, I do need to ask you one more thing. Who are you gonna nominate?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to nominate Brianna Diebolt, who plays Grace. She's on Be True. I think she is going to do really well and hopefully top my score. I'm going to say hopefully. I hope that she doesn't top my score, but I think she's going to top my score.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we can try and get Brianna on, and we'll see what she can do. So yeah, you got a really good score of, how many did you get? You got 14, right? Let me check that. You did get 14. Yeah, you got 14 out of 20, which is really good. That puts you in the middle of the leaderboard. But yeah, that's really good, and I really appreciate you coming on and trying to compete on here and everything, and I'm so grateful.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun.
You're most welcome, and thank you to everybody who's watched this video. I hope you all have an amazing day. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another Who Said It. Bye everyone.